Let's see if I made this beat the other day. Check this out. Tell me this ain't the craziest beat you ever heard. Something slight. And then we got the beat switch of the century. Alright, ready for this? Yeah, something slight. We got a couple people in here. What's up, everybody? We got 3 people. Okay, cool. Let's get it going. So today's... Oh my gosh. You thought I wasn't going to notice that, huh, phone? Thought I was going to let you wipe out over there. So today's deck review comes to us from Wayne. And he has to say about this deck. Hello! Hello, Wayne. So I have a deck I recently built. It has only put in 4 games in my playgroup, but has already been dubbed Arch Enemy, or Arc Enemy, whatever one you want to say, I don't really care. Worthy, LOL. It is a Selesnya recursion deck with Erinis Gloom Stalker, I think is what it is. Is it Glued Stalker? Hold on a second. No, it's Gloom Stalker. It's okay. Erinis Gloom Stalker with Inspiring Leader at the helm. It uses self-sacrificing creatures and lands for utility and control, then recurs them both while amassing a token army. The protection pieces also double as evasion for Erinis to get his combat triggers. Okay. Even though this is a budget deck, it has held its own against more expensive decks. I would love to know what you think. Cheers, Wayne. You took what I was going to say. Cheers, Wayne. That sounds awesome, so let's get into this. First, we're going to see what we're talking about, what the commanders are. Hopefully you can see what's going on here. Let me zoom in like a notch. Maybe I could zoom in a couple notches here. Maybe even one more notch. You know what? I might be able to notch it up one more time for you guys. Pull some strings. Nope. You know what? Sorry. Even my close friends can't notch it one more time. Okay. So, Erinis, the Gloom Stalker. Did I stop playing music? I did. There we go. Sounded a little quiet back there. Let me turn this up. Yeah, go subscribe to the Relaxed Movement. Appreciate the music. Oh, don't subscribe to him. Actually, do the opposite of what I just said. Do not subscribe to him, because I specifically typed in ad-free, royalty-free. First thing that happens when I click back to it. Oh, let's run a Home Depot ad. Or gold mark equipment, or whatever the hell that commercial was. That's so annoying. Okay, so we're not going to have background music because I am going to use my own music once I find enough. So there. So Erinis Gloomstalker is 2 and a green for a 3/3 death touch. When Erinis Gloomstalker attacks, return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Choose a background. So this one's not bad, actually. So every time she attacks, we get to return a land from our graveyard to the battlefield. She has death touch, so that's pseudo-evasion. She's not a bad blocker. In the background he has chosen is Inspiring Leader, 2 and a white for an enchantment aura. Commander creatures you own have creature tokens you control, get +2/+2. So, we've read the sum up, we've read the commanders. Let's kind of see how this thing works. So he said that it's based around recursion, creatures that sack themselves, lands that sack themselves for value and control, and then you run cards to be able to get both of those things back. And then protection, it also works as evasion for Erinis, so she can get through. Or he, whatever. So interesting. So, let me turn my fan on real quick. It's like too quiet in here without the music. No, it's right here. That's so much use. That's so useful it being right here. If that's like the loudest thing you've ever heard, please let me know. It shouldn't be too bad. But looking at my thing, it looks like it might be kind of bad. Is that super bad? Oh, it kind of is. Hold on. Okay, that should be way better. Sorry about this. It's been a shit show today. Okay. This should be fine. We'll see. So first we've got Admonition Angel. Kind of a cool name. 3 and 3 white for a 6/6 flying. Whoa. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may exile target non-land permanent other than Admonition Angel. When Admonition Angel leaves the battlefield, return all cards exiled with her under the control of their owners. So she's pretty cool. She's pretty cheap now, I'd imagine. Yeah, she's 55 cents. That's sick. She might go on a list. But this works great. We're gonna have so many lands entering, cracking themselves, being replayed that this landfall is gonna go off plenty of times. And we run plenty of recursion for creatures, it sounds like. So even if they do handle her, we'll probably be able to get her back. Enoch Survivalist, just some morph removal. Bamboo Grove Archer, I really like this card as well. I've started running this too. Just some creature removal for flyers. Best Soul Nourisher, 1, a green and a white for a 1/1. Whenever one or more other creatures with base power and toughness 1/1 enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Best Soul Nourisher. Awesome. Sigil Captain might be something to think of. It was on one of our daily card highlights. It makes 1/1s enter with 2 1/1 counters on them. Whenever Best attacks each other creature you control with base power and toughness 1/1, get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of 1/1 counters on Best. That's pretty good. Actually, maybe don't run the Sigil Captain in here. It seems kind of counterproductive. Now that I'm thinking about it. Because it kind of messes with Best, and Best is kind of just better. Best is sweet. I really like that a lot. Bounty Agent. Just some creature removal. So we have a lot of creature removal in here, which makes sense because if we're running so much recursion for creatures and lands, then we might as well make some of our removal lands, or some of our removal creatures. You know, might as well. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat over here. I'm making sure everything's running. Okay. Alright. And I just woke up. I fell asleep at like 6. I was super tired. I was like, I'm gonna take a little nap. And then I woke up at like 7:58, and I was like, we're very close to going live. Canker Bloom, again, some creature removal. Capuchin Unicorn, creature removal. Caustic Caterpillar, creature removal. Devout Witness, we just talked about this card, creature removal. Emria Angel is a landfall creature that makes 1/1 birds whenever you play a land. So again, we're going to have so much land entering the battlefield that getting 1/1 birds out of the deal is probably worth it for us. Emria Shepherd is a landfall card that will return stuff from your graveyard into play if you play planes. Yes, that seems like it might be one of the best cards in the deck. I'm going to save that one just because she is a very good card. Okay, False Prophet is a board wipe on a creature, so that's pretty cool. It's weird that it exiles all creatures. There might be a better creature board wipe that you could find. Like, do you run Sunblast Angel? Maybe take out False Prophet for Sunblast Angel. Just because I feel like exile is kind of it counters your strat a little bit. Genesis, 4 and a green for a 4/4 at the beginning of your upkeep. If Genesis is in your graveyard, you may pay 2 and a green. If you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Genesis is so good, and it's 31 cents. And I need to go pick up one of these immediately. Love Genesis. Green Seeker's mana ramp on a creature. How Tao is 1 and 2 green for a 1/2. You can tap him. Put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Activate this ability only during your turn before attackers are declared. such a weird time to be able to activate that, or like to have to activate that, but it's whatever. That's pretty good though. Yeah, that's solid. Magus of the Disc, great board wipe on a creature. Maha Bredagard Protector, 2 a green and 2 white for a 2/3. Other creatures get +1/+1 whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. Create a 1/1 human warrior. This seems great. That's your bread and butter in this deck for sure. Perennial Balos, great 5-drop 2/7 that lets you play lands from your graveyard, and it has Unearth. Everything we need. Oh, there's that crack. You hear that? Planar Guide, 1 white for a 1/1. You can pay 3 and a white. Remove Planar Guide from the game. Remove all creature cards from the game. At the end of turn, return those cards into play under the owner's control. I don't like that one very much in here. Again, I think the exile is going to mess with your tokens. Because if you have any tokens out when this thing's in play, it's going to mess with it. And then if you have it in your hand, you just have a dead card. And blinking's not really that good in your deck. Blinking your whole field and blinking everyone else's field is probably more of a benefit for everyone else. So Planar Guide might be a takeout. But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's like a thing that you put in here just to protect yourself from board wipes. But it still gets rid of your tokens. I don't know. That's one to think about for sure. Sakura Tribe Scout, 1 green for a 1/1. You can tap her to put a land from your hand into play. So yeah, just a mana ramp for 1 green. That seems great. Scare Tiller, 4 colorless for a 1/4. Whenever guys named Tiller. 4 colorless for a 1/4. Whenever Scare Tiller becomes tapped, choose one. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield, or you can return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. This was a card that I actually wanted to put on a daily card highlight as well, so let me save that. That is a super good card. Scute Swarm, 2 and a green for a 1/1 landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. If you control 6 or more lands, create a token that's a copy of Scute Swarm instead. If you've played Magic Arena, this is probably one of your first introduction cards to like how big board states work. So yeah, Scute Swarm's pretty decent. I'm blocking the picture or the art, so I'm so sorry. That's kind of annoying of me. Let me move this down here and make it smaller. There we go. My bad. That was annoying of me. Where were we at? Scute Swarm. Shigeki. I love this guy. I actually just started putting him in my decks as well. I think he's really good. 1 and a green for a 1/3. You can pay 1 and a green, tap him, return Shigeki Jukai Visionary to its owner's hand, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped, put the rest into your graveyard, and then he has Channel for 2x and 2 green, discard Shigeki, return X target non-legendary cards from your graveyard to your hand. Super good. Channel can be countered by cards with cards like Stifle and stuff like that. But it's so few and far between that it's actually pretty much an uncounterable recursion. So very good. Very good. Silverglade Pathfinder, creature mana ramp. Skola Grove Dancer. 1 and a green for a 2/2. Whenever a land card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, you gain 1 life. Pay 2 and a green. Put the top card of your library into your graveyard. I don't think that's great. I think gaining 1 life for just a land hitting your graveyard is meh. And I don't know if you have enough interaction with the top of your library to like care about milling yourself. But I don't know. Maybe you do. Let's see. Sky Shroud Ranger, creature mana ramp. Spore Frog, 1 green for a 1/1 that you can sack to prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn. It's just a fog frog. Can't go wrong with it. Spore Mound, 3 and 2 green for a 3/3 landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 green creature token. Maybe instead of Spore Mound, run Rampaging Baloths. That might be a better. This might be a better card. 4 and 2 green for a 6/6 trample that makes 4/4 beast whenever you play lands. That just might be a better choice than Spore Mound. Sun Titan, 4 and 2 green for a 6/6 vigilance. When it comes into play, return target or attacks, return target non-land. Oh no, it can be land. Oh, so good. Target permanent card from your graveyard with mana value 3 or less to the battlefield. Crazy good card. And then Trove Warden. The hell is this guy? 2 and 2 white for a 3/4 vigilance. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, exile target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard. When Trove Warden dies, put each permanent exiled into play. Trove Warden seems great. He's hitting all the boxes. World Shaper, 3 and a green for a 3/3. When it comes in when it attacks, you may mill 3 cards. When World Shaper dies, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. That seems great in here. That seems super good. Adventuring Gear, 1 colorless for an artifact equipment. Landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, equipped creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn, equips for 1. That seems fine. Arcane Spyglass, 4 for a color or for an artifact, pay 2, tap it, sacrifice a land, draw a card, and put a charge counter on Spyglass. Remove 3 charge counters from Spyglass, draw a card. Ooh, that seems great in here. That seems like it actually pumps out some pretty good card draw. I'm not gonna lie. Make sure you guys can still see me if I sit back a little bit. Conduit of Worlds, 2 and 2 green for an artifact. You may play lands from your graveyard. That's so good. Tap it, choose target non-land permanent. Cards in your graveyard. Oh, wait, what? Oh, choose target non-land permanent card in your graveyard, sorry. If you haven't cast a spell this turn, you may cast that card. If you do, you can't cast additional spells this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. That seems pretty good. Yeah, that seems pretty decent. It's like, what's that old black enchantment that lets you play stuff from your graveyard, but you can only play one thing? It's like that, but it's like one that you can choose, which is actually really good. Desecrated Tomb. 3 colorless for an artifact. Whenever 1 or more creature cards leaves your graveyard, create a 1/1 black bat with flying. I like Desecrated Tomb. I think it's pretty fun. Lifecrafter's great. Just some card draw with some scry attached to it. Love this card. Mirror Shield. Someone just talked about Mirror Shield the other day. They just left a comment about this card. 2 colorless for an equipment that equips for 2. Equipped creature gets +0/+2 and has hexproof. And whenever a creature with Death Touch blocks or becomes blocked by this creature, destroy that creature. It's pretty good. Pretty good source of hexproof. Seer's Sundial, 4 for an artifact with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. Very good. Especially in here, that seems great. Skeleton Key, 1 for an equipment that equips for 2. Equipped creature has Skulk. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Not bad. I don't know if I'm really feeling that one, though. I don't know if I'm feeling Skeleton Key. Zephyr Boots. 1 colorless for an equipment. Equipped creature has flying. Whenever a equipped creature does combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card, equip 2. So if that's a sub-theme, then that other card totally. Skeleton Key is fine. If you have like a whole sub-theme of like drawing and discarding to like interact with your graveyard, it makes sense now. I'm just being an idiot. That's my bad. Zuran Orb. 0 for an artifact. Sacrifice a land. You gain 2 life. This just seems annoying in here. You just like can use it to just crack 1 land each turn and gain 2, just like as an engine to play something out of your graveyard, or you can just use it to save your life. It seems really annoying. Beast Within, Swords to Plowshare, a couple removal pieces. Creeping Renaissance. I was gonna say Renaissance. Renaissance. Creeping Renaissance. 3 and 2 green for a sorcery. Choose a permanent type. Return all cards of the chosen type from your graveyard to your hand. That is such a good card, and it's like 98 cents. So I'm gonna save that one as well. I totally forgot about Creeping Renaissance. Creeping Renaissance and Praetor's Council were 2 like big bombs back in the day. Praetor's Council is probably sitting at like nothing right now. Now that I'm thinking about it. Splendid Reclamation. 3 and a green for a sorcery. Return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. That seems great. Get all your stuff back for 4. Aura Fracture, 2 and a white for an enchantment. Sacrifice a land, destroy target enchantment. Again, just another land sack outlet, but it doubles as removal, so that's fine. Canopy covers some good protection. Crawling Sensation, 2 and a green for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Whenever 1 or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, for the first time each turn, put a 1/1 green insect creature token onto the battlefield. That seems fine. It fills your graveyard, gives you insects. That seems really good, actually. Darksteel Mutation is some good old-fashioned removal. Druid class is some good mana ramp, but at the level 3, target land you control becomes a creature with power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. That seems pretty good. Mask of Law and Grace. 1 white for an enchantment. Enchant creature gains protection from black and from red. Maybe take that out for, like... Maybe take that out for... like some Swiftfoot boots. Swiftfoot boots like $1. Night Soil. 2 green for an enchantment. Exile 2 creature cards from a single graveyard. Put a 1/1 green sapperling. That seems great. Graveyard hate makes your tokens. Pentarch Ward. 2 and a white for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, choose a color. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchant creature has protection from the chosen color. This effect doesn't remove Pentarch Ward. Seems really good. Primeval Bounty. I haven't seen this one in a minute either. 5 and a green for an enchantment. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put 3 1/1 counters on target creature you control. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 3. That seems great. Retreat to Kazandu. 2 and a green for an enchantment. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature. You gain 2 life. It's not bad. It's not a bad landfall. Pumps up your tokens 1 by 1. Gains you life if you're behind. All with landfall. We're going to have plenty of lands coming into play. Rites of Flourishing. 2 and a green for an enchantment. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. Each player may play an additional land on their turn. So this one might be a group huggy kind of card that also accelerates us, which is always good. Shield of Duty. 1 white for an enchant creature. Enchant creature has protection from green and from blue. That's kind of funny. You got a couple of, like, you got the Mask of Law and Grace, the Shield of Duty and Reason. It's kind of cool. It's like budget versions of some of the swords. Sixth Sense. 1 green for an enchantment or enchant creature has. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. Sure. Snake Umbra. 2 and a green for enchant enchant aura. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 and has. Whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. Totem Armor. This is great. Totem Armor is so good. It is such a good mechanic. Unquestioned Authority. 2 and a white for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. When Unquestioned Authority enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature has protection from creatures. That one's not terrible. I just don't know how I feel about some of the auras when it's a go wide deck. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find this really quick. All that glitters seems great. That's not what I'm looking for. There's an old type of card. Okay, there we go. Oh, shit. There we go. These might be pretty good for you. Beastmaster's Mage Mark. The Mage Marks might be pretty cool. So, 2 and a green is the green one. Enchant creature. Creatures you control that are enchanted get +1/+1. Whenever a creature you control that's enchanted becomes blocked, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature blocking it. So pretty good enchantment. It also buffs all your other stuff that's enchantment. So it's like a go wide, go tall at the same time, which seems like what you're kind of doing right now with it. And then Guardian's Mage Mark. 2 and a white for an enchantment. It has flash. Enchant creature. Creatures you control that are enchanted get +1/+1. So this thing gets a 1/1, and then it adds another 1/1 buff to all your other stuff that's enchanted. So both those might be something to consider. Those seem actually kind of cool in there. This one is 1 and a white for an enchantment. Enchant creature can't attack. Tap 2 untapped creatures you control that share a creature type. Remove enchanted creature from the game. Yeah, that's not very good. But the mage marks, I think, are definitely something to consider for this. They seem pretty good, and like they're going on the same kind of wavelength. Ward of Lights. 2 white for an enchantment. You choose to play Ward of Lights as an instant. If you do, bury it at the end of turn. Enchant creature gains protection from the color of your choice. That protection granted by Ward of Lights does not bury Ward of Lights. Okay, that's not bad. It's like the same thing going on as the other cards a little bit. And then we've got lands. I normally don't read lands, but in this deck I will read the ones that seem like they're good to like cycle through over and over again with some of our play it from the graveyard cards. Blast Zone is a land that enters the battlefield with a charge counter on it. Tap it for a colorless. Pay 2x, tap it, put X charge counters on Blast Zone. And then pay 3, tap it, sacrifice Blast Zone. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value equal to the number of charge counters on Blast Zone. So it's a pseudo board wipe, kind of like just a problem solver that we can keep bringing back with stuff that lets us play lands from graves, so that's great. The crack lands that let us draw seem good to cycle through. Demolition Field blows up other people's lands, so being able to cycle through that's good. The ones with cycling are cool because we can ditch them and then play them from our graveyard, so we get the best of both parts of those cards. The Hickory Woodplot's kind of cool. It enters tapped with 2 charge counters on it, but then it taps for 2 green for 2 turns by removing a charge counter, and when it has none, it dies. So then when it dies, you just replay it with 2 more on it. That seems pretty good. Quicksand is like pseudo removal that we can bring back, which is cool. Remote Farm, same thing as the Hickory Woodlot, but for white. Another cycle land. Tectonic Edge blows up a land, so recycling that seems great. Terrain Generator taps for a colorless, or you can pay 2 and tap it. You may put a basic land card from your hand onto the battlefield tap. Terrain Generator's great. That's just a really good card. I'm saving that one as well. Crack this one to draw a card, replay it. That seems great. Crack it to draw a card. Cycle. Turn one of your cards, probably your commander, into a god that's indestructible. Sure. That seems good. And then being able to replay this and just turn other stuff into gods is really, really good. I like this a lot. This is very, very cool. So I wasn't sure where you were going when I looked at these 2 things, but then I read your sum up. I was like, okay. And then I read your deck, and I'm like, okay, I like this. Some suggestion cards. I really like the Mage Marks. I think those are cool in here. I like all that glitters. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you control. I think that'll go really hard in here. Trying to think what else would go pretty good in here. I mean, Intangible Virtue seems really good. 1 and a white for an enchantment that gives all your creature tokens 1/1 in vigilance. It's just low enough that like Sun Titan and all those other cards grab it out of your graveyard, and it just buffs all your tokens 1/1, which seems great in here. I really like Safi a lot in here. Green and a white for a 2/2. She's 86 cents. Sacrifice Safi. Whenever target creature is put into your graveyard this turn, return it to the battlefield. It's protection for like your biggest stuff in play that you like. It makes that stuff re-enter and re-trigger. This is another sack creature that you can then get back with like Sun Titan. Sun Titan Safi is like my favorite 2 cards to have in play at the same time. It seems like perfect for your deck, so I think that's another one that seems really good. Let me really think here, because I don't want to... I'm going to grab my Kolfanor deck really quick. That probably has the most things. I got it right. That's a oddity. So you're in green, white, landfall, tokens. Tireless Provisioner seems very good in your deck. You might want to pick one of these up. Tireless Provisioner is $1.28. 2 and a green for a 3/2. It turns all your lands into food tokens or treasure tokens. So I think Lotus Cobra is fairly cheap as well now. That's another one that seems good. Lotus Cobra, it's like $2.10. Turns all your lands into a mana floated. So that's, again, super strong. Let's see what else we got. Timeless Witness seems really good in your deck, actually. That kind of works on a couple levels in your list. 2 and 2 green for a 2/1. When it comes into play, return target card from your graveyard to your hand, so recursion. But it also has Eternalize, so if you accidentally like mill it, or if you want to discard it, or something like that, you can always get it back again to return something again. As a 4/4 zombie token from your grave. So that seems actually like another thing that seems pretty good. Karmic Guide seems like you actually need one of these in here. Like, you don't know happiness until you have a Sun Titan, a Safi, and a Karmic Guide in play. Karmic Guide is 33 cents. 3 and 2 white for a 2/2 flying protection from black. When it enters, return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. That seems great in here. For obvious reasons. Otham seems actually, again, right up the alley of this deck. He's 1 a green and a white for a 2/2. You can pay 2 and tap him. Choose target creature card that was put there this turn and put it back into play tapped. Perfect for your deck. Champion of Lamble actually seems insane in here. Yeah, that's the last suggestion I've got, but I've got one more. I've got a Champion of Lambbolt for you. Throw one of these in there. This thing is 37 cents. 1 and 2 green for a 1/1. Creatures with power less than Champion of Lambbolt can't block creatures you control. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Champion of Lambbolt. So all those all those tokens turn into 1/1 counters on Champion, which in turn turn into your board being unblockable. For 37 cents. That seems really good. Those are a couple suggestions, like a handful of suggestions for you. The cards that I weren't a big fan of, there was not a lot of them. The only ones that I can think of was Planner Guide, Shield of Duty and Reason, Mask of Law and Grace, and whatever the big landfall one was that put out. Well, where's that one at? The thing that spit out, not Night Soil. I swear it was an enchantment. This is one of those things where it's like it definitely was an enchantment. So where is it? Where is it? It's the one that I said to run Rampaging Baloths. Oh, Rampaging Baloths is another one that I would suggest you run. What card was that though? There was a card that spit out 1/1s. Whenever he played a land for like 3 and a green. What, does that card not exist now? Was it a creature? Did not look like a creature. Maybe it was. Well, hold on. I'm not ending this stream until we find that, guys. There it is. Spore Mound. Okay, I was starting to panic. I was like, this is definitely a card I saw. It was a creature. I thought it was an enchantment. Okay, Spore Mound's the other one. I'm not a big fan of Spore Mound, Planner Guide, Shield of Duty and Reason, or Mask of Law and Grace. And then, I showed you some of the stuff that I suggest. Champion of Lambbolt seems great. Otham seems great. Karmic Guide seems great. Timeless Witness, Lotus Cobra, Tireless Witness, Safi, Intangible Virtue, All That Glitters, the Mage Marks. So just some stuff to consider. I think that would be pretty good. You showed me a couple awesome cards out of this deck, so thank you. And thanks for submitting your deck. If you guys want to submit your decks for Friday night deck reviews, just go to the subreddit. It should be in the description, r/NextLotus, and then just submit one of your decks there. Just post your deck list and the title, And that's it. You'll be added to the queue. Much love. And I'm going to hop off. I'm going to crash. I got to wake up early tomorrow. Have a good one.